Hey guys, so this whole project began with some land clearing, so I ended up cutting down 3 pretty good sized trees to make room. Then once the area was cleared, I hired a dirt guy to bring in fill dirt and level everything off. Then I hired out a company to pour the concrete pad, and the last bit of help I got was hiring a company to put up the main structure of the building. This is including insulating everything, including the wall, the ceiling and the walls, and they hung the doors. I spec'd it out with 1 walk door and 2 10-foot by 10-foot roll-up doors. Now I plan to do all the rest of the work solo. Things like interior walls, running all of the electrical, hanging lights, eventually getting water trenched to the building. I want a shop sink. I will be running fiber internet out here. I'm not sure, after I do all that, I'm not sure if it's going to be just a shop or it might be part man cave too. Now remember, I have no construction experience. I've done some, projects around the house, of course, but I've never been in the trades of any kind of trade like that. But I do know how to watch YouTube videos and learn how to do most things. So I felt this picture needed some explanation. To be consistent with how power is ran to my house, it's trenched underground, and so I wanted to do the same to the shop. And the code says you have to go 3 feet down into the ground, into the dirt, and then 3 feet out with this special pipe, and it's got a 90-degree sweep in it. Even though this is fill dirt, mostly, digging with a shovel 3 feet down into the ground is pretty difficult. So thankfully I had a friend that had an auger, and he brought his auger over, and he lent his time, and he helped me. And then the next day, of course it rained heavy, and it filled up with water. So that was my first little task I wanted to tackle once the frame was done, was starting the process of getting electrical to the outside of the building. So the code in my area says that for underground power, you must run 2 8-foot grounding rods, and they must be 6 feet apart from one another. Now I'm speeding this up for just sake of time, but this took me a long time, and it was not fun. It was like the worst game of whack-a-mole you could ever play.
Alright guys, I think I'm to the point now to where I want to run the copper line and attach them to these rods here. And that was a chore, getting those things driven into the ground. I'm not really exactly sure what's the easiest way to do it. I didn't want to drive these rods too far in the ground and not have access to them, or you have to dig around them. So I'm not sure. As far as my code, what I read was that the copper or the rods have to be at or below ground level. So they got to go down some. But I thought maybe I could attach the copper to them, then drive them down even further, like where they're ground level. But let's see how it goes. All right, guys. So I took the end of the copper wire and I put my pliers and made a bend in it, because I feel like that's the logical thing to do. But maybe it's the wrong thing to do. I think I'm gonna bend it. I think I'm gonna have the point bending up, but I guess. Again, this is my first time ever doing this, so I don't know what's the right way or the wrong way. But I'm sure somebody will tell us in the comments how wrong I'm doing it. I'm gonna slide that over the rod, and got a 1/2-inch wrench here. Tighten this down with. Figure it needs to be pretty tight. There it is. Of course, I'm gonna hammer this down further into the ground in a bit. So I just took the clamp off the rod here because I had to slide it over the copper here, and I'm going to attempt to attach it tightly. I'm not sure, again, what's the best way to do this. Put a bend in it somewhere. Alright guys, so that's what it currently looks like. Just a bend there, runs along the ground. I had to bend it kind of up the pipe or up the rod, and then clamp it, and then it's just gonna, it's the hole. Now if I just take the excess, I'm probably going to wrap it around that pole or that pipe a couple times, and then it's gonna come out that little hole right there. So let me do that. All right, so there she is after running it and twisting it a couple times around there and getting it to this little bitty hole. And I just fed it through there for now. Man, everything that I think is gonna be super easy turns out not to be easy. So it's probably my fault. There's probably some techniques that could make this easier, but I'm a newbie, so it's pretty difficult for me. Let's see what's next. Alright guys, so I did these two off camera. I wanted to see just how I could do it. I think since I have less room to work, I'm going to start from all three of these lugs go in and do I think that's what I'm going to do these first and then try to do those. But anyway, let me show you what I've done on the other side. Okay, so this is the breaker box side. I just have this, obviously it's too long right now. This I cut, and I actually did already put it in there, but then I realized I feel like it was easier to disconnect it here and connect it on the back side, the outside side. That's what I'm trying to say first. But I think I'm going to cut the neutral and then go ahead and put the neutral in, and then I'll go ahead and put the other hot leg on the outside. I think that's what I'm going to do. I almost forgot. I've already put this like a washer, this lock washer, and this plastic protective washer. It protects the wires from getting any kind of cuts. I've already put it on this side, obviously, but I need to put it on the other side before I start really moving wires and tighten around. So let me do that. All right, so it would have been better if I had done this before. So I even tried running these wires through, but I think I can do it as it is. I'm careful. I don't want to damage these wires. I don't want to cut them anyway. So, be careful. I don't know what the proper tool to use for this would be. I think I'm going to take a screwdriver, a hammer, and just hammer this tight. It's already pretty tight now, but I'm going to tighten it up with a hammer, kind of like a hammer and chisel. Now to put this on, I'm going to start with my copper wires, the longest. At least, no. Yeah, I really should have done this before I did. I'll try to run these wires through the pipe. But again, it's my first time ever doing it, so give me a little slack. Let's just get that hand tight. And now the wires should be protected. All the wires. Now they can move around and not get cut at all. I know I keep going back and forth, but it's just kind of how I am. I'm sporadic, I guess. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this one ran. This hot leg ran right here. Get it trimmed up here and go ahead and connect it. Just cutting down till I barely feel the resistance of the metal. And then I stop cutting down and I just move around the wire. Be careful, I'm cutting myself. All right, now I'm gonna take the pliers and just wiggle it off. So now I feel like this is the hard part, getting it in there. 'Cause I don't want to bend very well. I got it in there somehow. I had to kind of wiggle this one around and make it some room, but now at least I got it fed in there. Now I can tighten it down. Alright guys, I think I'm done out here for the most part until the power company comes. They will trench the ground from the pole to here. They will run their wire up to this pipe, up. As far as I understand it, they're gonna come up and put two hots in here in neutral. So yeah, I think I'm done here. See, I'm gonna pull on it and it don't move. Before I'd pull on this and it would just come out. I think it's because I had to just bend it just right. It was just, now it ain't coming out. So I'm glad I'm done with that. Alright, there's one. Pull on it, it ain't coming out. I think that's what you want. I think now I might do the neutral. Right in there, just trim it. Of course, gotta bend it first. Bending it is not fun. Alright, so I'm gonna cut it a little long on purpose. I think I'm gonna cut it out here. Alright, to cut, I'm using these Stanley lock cutters. I'm glad I had these because I don't know what else I would use. I don't have any specialized equipment for this. So let me see, right there, I think. I'm probably cutting it too long, but I'd rather cut it too long than too short. So let's just see where we're at once I cut this off. All right. Be fine. Yeah, I think it's gonna be just fine. Just I'm trimming about 3/4 of an inch of the insulation off. That's what I'm doing anyway. So about 3/4. I think that's about right there. Just trying to do it the best way I know how. Take that off. There we go. Just looking at the connection. Make sure it's tight. Make it tight. Alright, that's pretty tight. Let's see if I can pull it out. Cannot pull it out. Make sure I don't see any cuts or anything, or feel any cuts or anything. And I don't. So I'm ready for the next hot leg right here. Alright, so it's been a couple weeks since that last clip you just seen. I wanted to show you the current state, the way it looks outside. The power company did this part, they installed this. The way my understanding is, it's just a jumper. It jumps the power here, so if there's ever a fire or any reason, for some reason I need to shut the power off on the outside of the building, I can just pull this out and obviously power shut off. Now, just to recap, I had to go 3 feet down into the ground and come out, I think 3 feet, and the power company took it from there. So they hooked up about right here underground, they ran it underneath, they trenched it to the pole right over there. So that was what they did, and then I had to pick up, I had to do everything. I had to do all this pole and of course everything from inside that point. Now let me show you what it looks like inside. I do have one breaker installed for my one outlet that I'm currently using. That ain't hooked up to nothing right now, but it's just there. It's just also just being there right now. I need to be careful. I just realized that, because that's a lot of voltage coming in right there. Obviously I won't leave this cover off for very long. Just for video purposes, I wanted to show you guys. So I've got that coming out the top there. It comes through the wall, and I'll show you. There's my outlet that I just kind of got rigged up. And to prove that it has power, my battery's charging. See that red light? So yeah, I've been working for a couple weeks with this one single outlet, charging batteries and running my circular saw and stuff like that. I'll just give you a sneak peek what I've done around there. But I think I'm going to cut this video into 2 parts, because I think it's just getting way too long and I don't want to bore so many people. But yeah, so just stay tuned for part 2, where I will continue the frame building, and I'll continue running outlets around the walls here, and we'll see what else we can get our hands into. All right guys, thank y'all for watching. Peace.